Thanks for joining us today. Today we'll be discussing the Clareblend Microcurrent as well as the minis. We also have Nadia and Rich here directly from Clareblend, so you'll get to put faces with names. Also get to hear them speak directly about their product. For those who don't know me, I am Stephanie. I'm the office director at MedSpa Distributors. I'm also a licensed esthetician. Pam is the owner of the company, the president of MedSpa Distributors, and my sister-in-law, Andrea, is also our social media and our marketing director. So it is pretty much family-owned, mother and daughter-in-law. All right, so we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Today we'll be discussing the Clareblend Jeunesse Professional Microcurrent System. It's manufactured in Reno, Nevada. The Jeunesse microcurrent systems are manufactured to the highest industry standards. They're manufactured on-site according to Class 1 and Class 2 FDA standard with not only aesthetic equipment, but also electrology equipment as well. So they have a very well-rounded catalog for us. Now I'll kind of turn it over to Nadia and Rich here. We kind of wanted to discuss the products a little bit and kind of get a little history of you guys. So if you wanted to go ahead and do like a little quick introduction of yourself.
Hi, my name's Nadia, and Rich and I own the business. We've owned the business for, say about 16 years now. And the business actually started with Claire. Here's her picture. She started the business in 1927, which is pretty awesome considering she was a woman. Woman-owned business in 1927 was pretty amazing. And the name, of course, was Claire, and Clareblend was a electrology term to describe an electrology procedure. So that's where the business started. It started as an electrology business, making machines, and when her daughters took over, and we purchased the business from her daughters when they wanted to retire. And since then, we've expanded into skincare, which we included the Jeunesse, which is the microcurrent, and then the mini. So we're pretty proud of that story because it is a woman-based business. Perfect. So it's been a great thing. Perfect. And Rich here, he's the engineer. He's developed all the machines. He not only designs them, he programs them, and everything's made on site in Reno. We're very proud of the fact that it's made in the U.S. and serviced in the U.S.
Perfect. And Rich, I hear you have a pretty large portfolio of the engineering projects that you're involved with. So it's not just the skincare. You also work on much larger electrical engineering projects as well, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. And I started actually working for fire control systems for the U.S. Navy and for submarines. And then I proceeded on to fire control systems for missiles, surface-to-air missiles for the Navy. And then after that, I did some high-precision dynamometer testing equipment for testing car engines, tank engines, jet engines, and with a real small company in Ventura, California. And during that time, I also was a consultant with another person I worked, we worked together. We did the entire electrical system for a 4-engine turboprop aircraft. It actually flew from Oxnard, California to Puerto Rico, and the test pilot actually even had a parachute on his back, because that's the way they test aircraft normally, just to make sure that if something happens, he has at least one way out. But anyway, it landed very safely in Puerto Rico and so forth. So at the present, and I've been a consultant. I started as a consultant as well for Marge, the previous owner of Clareblend, before she retired. Got a few things through the FDA testing, like EMI and RS, so it's safety things. And of course, since then, I've been developing a lot of equipment, totally redesigned the Clareblend line of electrology equipment. And then, of course, went into skincare. We did teeth whitening systems, microcurrent. In fact, the Jeunesse was conceived in 2006, the main machine, and has been quite successful. And So a quick synopsis of Clareblend. We are a FDA registered manufacturing facility.
Oh, let's go ahead and dive into the meaning of the name Jeunesse.
Yes,
believe
I was
that
going to
there you go.
you actually do have some French heritage. So would you like to elaborate on why the name is Jeunesse? What does Jeunesse mean?
Jeunesse means youth in French. And as a matter of fact, Rich is, his mother is French, and he was born and raised in France up to the age of 18. And my mother is French, and we both speak French. So that is kind of the connection with that. And again, it means youth. And jeunesse is how you pronounce it. I know it's been a little bit difficult for some people to pronounce it at first, but it does add a little bit of a romantic touch to the name, and a lot of people like the French language, so we thought it was kind of a nice touch to it. It's very personal to us. And the mini is actually a mini jeunesse, because it is what the jeunesse does, but in a mini version for home use. So that's where that came from. And we think it's a very personal thing, and we hope that everybody appreciates that. And once you learn how to say it, it's kind of a nice touch.
And as we're talking about names, let's actually get into the terminology of microcurrent, because a lot of the buzzwords that are surrounded with microcurrent can be a little confusing without some underlying education. So before we dive into the explanation of exactly what these do, let's kind of go over a little glossary of terms.
A microamp is a 1/1,000,000th of an amp. Micro 1/1,000,000th. So that's what microcurrent is. It's measured in 1/1,000,000th of an amp.
And that amperage is very similar to what's already in our body. Our bodies produce a natural current on their own, correct? So the microamp is along the same current of what our body's naturally producing.
Right, it's very low, extremely low level, yes.
Okay. And everyone has their own current, unique to them, correct? There's not a one size fits all as far as everyone's current.
No, everybody's a bit different.
Exactly. Is there anything else we need to touch on as far as understanding how we turn electrical current and blend it in with our body's current? What is that current doing to our body when we use the jeunesse? What are we doing to the skin?
Well, basically, it's you'll have a little bit of increasing collagen, and also doing it affects the skin tightening is actually very predominant.
A lot of questions we get involve the frequency and the shape of the waveform. Could you kind of touch on what frequency means and what the shape of the wave means in terms of how we're applying it to the skin?
Okay, frequency is repetition of a cycle. Like if you have a certain cycle, a square wave, let's say, the frequency, you could repeat that 1,000 times a second, or you could do it 10 times a second. So that's frequency. For example, your lights in your house, the alternating current is 60 times a second, 60 hertz. Okay, so that's frequency. It's a repetition rate of a certain waveform, which is what we call periodic waveform. Typically on all microcurrent devices is mostly a square, rectangular pulse. So what's unique, I've done, by the way, I've done a lot of consulting for people that make microcurrent devices to get it through the FDA. And our wave shape is a little radically different. First of all, they normally put like 10 consecutive pulses as the same kind. And then they're positive pulses. And then it switches to negative after the 10th pulse, and they do 10 consecutive negative pulses, and the cycle repeats. And they only do that at one frequency. Ours is a bit different. We do one positive pulse, then we immediately do a negative pulse, and that is repeated at multiple frequencies. The reason behind that is the body will get used to if you put the same regimen over and over, the body gets used to it. It's like basically you could pinch yourself And if you don't release the pressure, it'll hurt at first, and after a while, it'll kind of dissipate. So this is one of the things we do in our microcurrent systems. Is it alternates between positive pulse, negative pulse, and then the frequency randomly, especially on the mini, switches. It's totally random. So you can get 10 hertz one time. The next set of pulses will be at 100 hertz, and I think it goes up to 600. So basically, it varies all the time. So your body doesn't have a chance to get accustomed to that particular pulse rate.
Yep, you took the words right out of my mouth. That was kind of why I wanted to go over all of this vocabulary, so that at the very end we could wrap it all up, so that once we go into discussing the mini, exactly all these terms basically culminate together to say we're giving the body electricity in a way that it doesn't recognize and it can't get used to. We're always going to keep the skin guessing. So that's why I kind of wanted to go over all this vocabulary, so that it all came together when we were talking specifically about the Clareblend Mini. Before we jump into Pam describing the Mini a little bit more, I do want to congratulate Clareblend on the awards that you guys have gotten for your equipment. If you'd like to take a second to go over those. Yeah.
Yes, we have one here that we got in Las Vegas in 2019 for Editor's Pick. At the Skin Deep for the Skin Deep Editor's Choice Award, and that was a great one. That was for the jeunesse. We're really proud of that one. And then we also got an award, which I don't have a physical award for, was for lip gloss and aftershave. That was a big one too.
Perfect. Well, yes, especially those, because those are esthetician voted on. Those are by the people. Yep.
Yes, and we were really proud of that one. That one was really exciting. And then this one was kind of a special award. It was a healthcare pharmaceutical award for, this was a company-wide award that we got for an international recognition for a company, our company. It's kind of cool, for best beauty therapy technology in the marketplace.
Perfect.
In 2019. So we were really excited about this. This just recognized us as a company for what we do and what we produce. And so we are considered that we make medical equipment. So that was really amazing as well. And that, because we make our equipment to high standards. And so that is what we were recognized for. Perfect. And again, we make everything in the US. We try to use as many vendors as possible that are local right here in Nevada and in California, and also across the US, so that many of our parts are made here in the US. Our circuit boards are made here in the US. The plastics that we use, the overlays, the labels, the artwork, all of that stuff, the metal cabinets are made right here in the state, or in, like I said, in many of the states. And that is really something that we are proud of. Perfect. And we can service our machines right here if necessary as well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I want to take this time. I know Rich had to step away. He has a consulting meeting coming up, but I wanted to thank you for your time, for joining us, and thank you for your explanations. I really appreciate it. At this point, we'll turn it over to Pam so she can dive a little deeper into the Clareblend Minis.
Okay, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Take care.
Thanks for coming, Rich.
Thank you.
Nadia and I get to talk probably on a daily basis.
Yes.
You know, so we get to play with colors and labels and our team and everybody, and it's a funny how over all this time, how now we've developed into so many different colors of minis, and we've got 3 different bag choices now. We've got 6 different actual mini colors, but they all do the same thing. Everybody always asks that. Well, are they the same? Yes. this, of course, is Pam's favorite color one. Nadia, I think her favorite one is this one. Nope.
Yep, that one and the pink one. Toss up.
No, toss up now. Okay, so in between the two now for Nadia. So
Right.
she likes both of those. So, and then my next favorite's probably the sapphire, because I kind of like the sapphire too. Just so you know, classic still hanging in there.
Yes.
As far as colors, and that's the classic. And then Hot Little Ruby is this one here. So that's the 6 different colors. And if everybody doesn't know, in the mini comes the bag, the 2-ounce gel, and your pamphlet of how to do it, your mini itself, which also has the wall adapter in it right now too. So I will, shall we tell them that something that the coronavirus has people may not realize has caused shortage in different products?
Definitely.
Poor Nadia has had to go through all kinds of things lately because the 2-ounce bottles, guess what? All these hand sanis are also wanting to be in 2-ounce bottles.
Oh.
So it has caused a big demand on finding 2-ounce bottles. So it's you know, we all know, and you know, of course I want everybody to be healthy, but all these other little side things that are happening because of the coronavirus too. And one is finding 2-ounce bottles.
Who would have thought, you know, I thought I was on top of it, and then I went to order more, and guess what? Everybody in the world is out of 2-ounce bottles. Hopefully I have some coming, but if not, you might have to see the gel coming in a different container, but right now I hope I'm covered. So I'm apologizing ahead of time.
we just
a little heads up that if you do order some and they come in a different bottle, that is why. Bear with us, and when the world returns to normal, you can get your 2-ounce bottles again.
Exactly.
What is in the bottle is the correct stuff. It may just not be in the right bottle.
It might be in a jar. Clareblend, of course, originally with Miss Claire, and the fact that they did electrology first. But then, like I said, when they expanded into the skincare world, that's kind of when we got to meet, and we've been basically working with each other since then. So it's been probably 16 years.
Probably about 14.
14 years.
We've had the business 16 years, so it's been about 14 years.
About 14 years.
Yeah.
So
I've been here 13, and we've had Microcurrent with Clareblend the entire time, so at least 13 years.
Yep. So that, you know, and once you're part of the family, you're like always part of the family.
Right.
So we've had a great, I think, relationship, and they make great equipment, and they really do care about the equipment that they make. And then, like I said, they listen to, because like I'll hear somebody in the field say, hey, I really want something that I can use both hands. And that's how this is not a mini, but this is actually for the Jeunesse. And so it's for our professional units so that they can do 2 at a time. And that idea came from Estes telling me that they want to be able to speed it up sometimes. So that's the reason why they can use 2 at the same time. And we call those brainless or gutless because the Jeunesse actually controls it, as the mini has what we call a small brain in it.
Yeah, I just kind of want to piggyback on the back of that just to state what you just said again. The mini is powered by, has its own brain. Now we have a device that looks exactly like that will attach to your professional in the treatment room machine, the Jeunesse. So they look alike, they do similar things, but one is independent and one depends on being plugged into the equipment.
That is correct. So with all that, Nadia, do you want to tell us anything else? If not, I will go into showing them how to use the mini.
Well, We designed the Mini also for the esthetician to sell to their clients. And one of the things that we really have tried to do is keep it off of Amazon and not sell it in stores like, you know, like Nordstrom's or Sephora or Ulta, those kind of stores where the consumer can just take it off the rack and purchase it. And one of the reasons why is we really emphasize education and contraindications when we're selling this product. We really stand behind education first and foremost. And one of the reasons, well, for instance, when you buy a Jeunesse professional unit, you get one-on-one training. And that's a big part of what we believe in, is you get the training and you understand everything about the machine and how to get the most benefit for your clients and get the most money out of your purchase of equipment to help your clients. So now when you're selling this Mini to your clients, you want to do a little education to your clients so that they're getting the best benefits in between professional treatments. And they're going home understanding how to use it, the contraindications, and they're going to get the best results. As opposed to when they're buying it off of Amazon and they don't understand how to use it, and then they're not getting results, and then they just want to return it. And we want them to be satisfied. We want them to be educated. They're coming to your salons. They're high-end customers. They are getting treatments in your salons. They're paying a lot of money to get treatments. They're paying a lot of money for this item, the Mini. So you want them to be happy and get good results, but that takes a little care of education. They have to know how to use it properly. And so we are a little bit different than some of our competitors in that we do not sell off the shelf. We sell through estheticians. And I don't believe there's any other one of our competitors that do that. And so it's the esthetician that is getting the high markup, but it's the esthetician that also needs to give a little bit of the education to the client, and the client is going to get better results with that. And that's what we're finding. So we are protecting this esthetician from the over-the-counter sales and the Amazon sales. And I think we're trying to protect that. So I just wanted to point that out, that we don't go selling on eBay or Amazon or places like that. And so far we've done really well with that. And hope that we can continue, especially during this time when everybody is staying at home and not able to go visit the esthetician at their salons. So I just wanted to point that out. And we're still making Minis right now. We're still able to manufacture, and we're still, as long as UPS and the post office is open, we're still able to ship.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that we're very grateful for everything the estheticians are doing for us and for the success of the Mini.
And it's a great item for the estheticians, especially right now. I know several successful estheticians that have been emailing their clients and telling them that this would be a good home device for them to use during this time. So it's helped to make them some income too during this time. So we don't typically talk about pricing on any of our talks. And the reason for that is because we do keep it professional pricing, concealed to the professional. So, so that's the reason why you won't hear us mention during this video that an esthetician's price is. You can always go to medspadistributor.biz and submit your credentials and get approved, and then you'll get the wholesale pricing. Just wanted to mention that because a lot of times people do ask us, but we do ask, even if you're talking on social media sites, to not mention what you can buy it for wholesale, because again, we're trying to protect that esthetician, to always make sure that we go through the estheticians. Nadia has been approached by many companies to go on that, say brick and mortar storefront. And she is held off because she truly believes on wanting to keep the education and keep it for something that the esthetician can take and retail. So I thank her for that as an esthetician, because that keeps it in our realm, and that's what we would like to do. So I really do appreciate that. Speaking from me, from my Esty point. Okay.
Also appreciate that as an esthetician.
And another esthetician.
There are so many products out there that are direct to the consumers, but there's no education on how to use them.
Exactly.
It's very important that they get their education from you, the esthetician.
Yeah. And we get asked a lot of times, well, do you have videos that we can give out to our clients? And I will tell you that what we like to do is tell you to make your own little video, because it makes it personal to your client. So instead of, they don't know me, they know you. So they want to see you and the results that you get. And results will vary. So we do take and always tell them that. When you're talking mini and you're talking Jeunesse, we kind of consider there's the output, and then there is the mixed and random frequencies we can go through. And Rich talked a little bit about that. So the output on this, everyone always asks, it's 330. On our professional machines, we can vary it between, on the Jeunesse, from 0 to 1,000. Typically, we're going to stay 600 and below, but we can do that. Different than our frequencies, different than saying mixed or random. That's going to be how the frequency goes. But as far as the flow of the output of the current, it's 330 on the mini. Okay. No on, no off switch. Don't have to worry about that. Lightweight. Don't have to worry about that. Okay. All these things are some of the many reasons why I love the mini. Okay. So, but keep in mind the easiest way to do this, and I know Andrea is here too. And Andrea, there's the conductive gel. I like, a lot of times I'll put on some peptides ahead of time. I put on a little bit of Victoria Deanne's Lift and Victoria Deanne's Tone. Sometimes I will use some pad. I put that down. You wait 2 minutes in between, remember, with your peptides. And then you put some conductive gel down. I recommend only doing 1/4 of a face at a time. And the reason for that, instead of putting the gel all over my face, it's going to take me some time to get over to the other side. So I take and put just a little bit of gel onto the skin. It's a thin layer, not a thick layer, okay? I tend to do this, I can plug it into my mini into the computer. So I tend to do this like when I'm checking emails and such. So I use one hand for this and the other hand's on the keyboard, okay? You can do 2 at a time too. Some people will do that also. But for today, I'm going to show you on one side. Andrea, are you here? Because Andrea is going to do it too, but she's going to put on her mask, I think.
Yes, I have a calming mask that I'm going to use. So I've already actually laid down some peptides from Victoria Deanne and applied those to my skin. And then I'm going to use the mask.
Anybody else that came today, did they bring their mini with them? I can't see everybody, so if you did, follow along. Oh, look, Stephanie's bringing hers out now.
While she's going through this, I just kind of wanted to hit the high points again. The Clareblend Mini, retail device to your client, super simple to use, no on or off. They don't have to customize any settings. There are no settings. It's on or off. It couldn't be easier. It's a great way for your clients to maintain their professional treatment, since none of us can get in and get those treatments right now. We don't want our clients to lose that what progress they were making in the treatment room with those professional treatments. So this is a great way to generate a little income during this time and also keep your clients on the road to better skin once they can get back into the facility, so you guys don't have to start those treatments, those microcurrent treatments all over again.
And the good thing about the mask is there's enough liquid that's remaining inside of the mask that you can apply the serum that's inside to the neck for the slippage when you're doing the movements that are on your neck.
We did have a question about why we apply peptides first. The side effect of microcurrent is going to be helping penetrate those products down deeper into the skin than just a topical application. So we lay those down and then just use the microcurrent not only for the lifting and toning of the skin, but it's also going to help penetrate those skincare products down deeper as well.
And I find those doing the lift and tone really does help, just as far as the results too, as far as it's like an added 1-2 punch.
Not a requirement, but certainly a little added bonus to layer your skincare products under the conductive gel.
And if you mess up on the beeps, it's not the end of the world, okay? So, but the beeps are there to help guide you to, as you can see, come upward, hold, wait until it double beeps, and then move to another area. I have to admit, I have to not look at the monitor because it looks opposite of what I'm doing. So, and I'm used to doing it without any monitor anyhow. So I'm just going through my normal steps and trying not to look at what I'm doing. You can work on, go ahead, Stephanie.
I was going to comment on that with your clients at home. There is a general flow of how to do your movements, but there really is no wrong. As long as they're moving upward and holding, basically they don't have to follow, you have to do this, and then you have to do this. So it really, once you get the hang of it, it really is a no-brainer. Like Pam said with the emails, I'm doing the same thing. I'm usually answering emails. I do it watching television. Lord knows I'm not thinking about it then. I'm just lifting, watching my TV show, just going along the face. Also, the question of, does the Mini have a timer? No, until you unplug it. Hinting on that, I really enjoy that the Clareblend Mini is plugged into a power source. That way you're not losing any of your battery power, even if it's a very small percentage. The first touch on your face has as much power as the last touch on your face. But they can control, there is no on off or timer switch, so they can decide the longevity of their treatment.
So I've moved to the next fourth of my face. So I'm putting some more conductive, just because I do it a fourth at a time. If you do put it on more and you start to lose it, sometimes I'll just take a mist and spritz myself too, just to reactivate the gel too. So you can do that. So, and you can go back and work more on one area if it bothers you. Usually what I like to do, and I didn't tell you all this, is I'll look at myself and I'll see which eyebrow seems to be up higher or lower, or my cheek. And I like to start on the lowest side first and get it lifted as far as I can. Then I'll do the other side, maybe just a little bit less. And once I see it's matching, I'll just stop on that other side. I have to not look again because it's like backwards. So, but it's easy to use. Just think about when I put it on my skin, if it looks better holding it this way, you don't want to go downward. You always want to give a nice little lift up. You don't have to like press real hard. You can let it glide along, but you want to do it. So like in my case, I like to make my fat little cheeks up a little bit higher and take away from down here. So, and then of course on my brows, I love to do my eyebrows. My eyebrows are probably my favorite part because I have more of a hooded eye look. So I want to take and make sure I give it a lift up. I'm going to get back into my beat cycle.
Basically, we're using these prongs as our sculptor. We want a little indentation here to give those little cheekbones, so we get underneath it and lift it up and hold. So wherever you put your Mini and the direction you go to hold it, you're trying to mimic whatever you're doing with the Mini is what you're hoping the skin will do. So always up and in, or up and hold, but when we're lifting everything up, everything goes up, defying gravity.
Not a heavy pressure. We're not taking in, bruising ourselves or anything of that sort to get this, okay? We're just lifting it up, and if it doesn't hurt at all. And you don't even, that's another question a lot of people ask is, am I gonna feel like a zap? No, because this is a low voltage, not a high voltage, and it is true microcurrent, okay?
A couple more questions from the chat box. How often should the mini be used per week? 2 to 3 times. The bigger part is going to be the client finding the time in their day. Well, not so much right now, but under normal circumstances, finding the time in their day to do it more often. But 2 to 3 times is certainly sufficient. Also, another tip, we don't recommend using these in the treatment room as a microcurrent treatment, but when we get back in the treatment room, a fantastic way to sell these is just do the eyes. Only takes about 5 to 10 minutes more on the treatment. They'll get those results right around the eyes and get them excited to purchase at retail as you're checking them out. So yes, spot treatments could actually, if you do them on your client, a quick spot treatment could potentially sell one of these.
And I just did like a quick, but can you see like even when I'm trying to hold my head straight? There we go. Okay. Can you tell like which side that I've been working on versus the other side?
I can.
What are you looking at when you see that, Stephanie? Help them out so that they know what's the difference that they're going to see.
Looking at the screen, Pam's on our left. On our left, Pam's eyebrow is lower. If you look at the right one, her arch is extended upward and outward versus the left where the brow goes more straight across the top. So we're looking more at the arch of the brow compared to the arch on the left side.
And then sometimes in the cheek area too, one cheek versus the other, you'll be able to tell a difference on that too. So everybody's got their own areas of what they don't like, so mine is my eyebrows, because like I said, I want to get that more of the lift on that, because especially, now that I'm in my 60s, you get more of that hooded look. I don't want that. So that's the best area I'd like to take and spend time on doing. Andrea does it more as preventive. Stephanie would do it more as preventive.
I actually do have a spot that I work on.
Okay.
I have recently lost a little bit of weight, thank goodness. But I've noticed that my weight loss is showing right here. So I've actually been working on the lower chin, moving it outward and back to tighten up this area after a little bit of weight loss.
And you can see by the picture behind Stephanie and myself, that's Andrea there. She gets to be our model when it comes to the minis. And so now when you see that picture now, you'll be like, oh, I know who that is now. So like I said, it's easy to use. Keep in mind, you just want to upward motions. You're going to hear the beep, hold it until it double beeps. If you just go real fast on the skin, your beeps are going to be all messed up. Just because, remember, the beeps are there to glide, hold until it double beeps. Beeps, when it gets into the cycle, beeps, and then you want to hold it until it double beeps. Does that make sense?
It was a question about, does it re-educate the muscles? Not really, not re-educate, but it does stimulate them to contract slightly. That will, over time, they will relax and return back to where they were. So this is a good analogy. The microcurrent is going to push all that together and up, and then it will start to gradually relax. And that's why we need to continue the treatments so that we keep that all pulled in and lifted.
Remember, you're trying to stimulate your ATP. So that's your adenosine triphosphates. And so basically that's the energy for your cells. So what we're trying to do is make more energy for the cells, and that's going to keep us going. As like Rich had said earlier, we talked about how, we are trying to keep everything like exercise. We can't stop doing it. So this is the reason we want to keep that ATP stimulated, not overstimulated, but stimulated. I call machines that actually they do too much too fast, that looks good for the moment, but it's like a sugar high, then it all comes down quickly. So we want to build a house with a good foundation. So we start and we build up and up and up on keeping everything stimulated.
The lifespan. I'm not sure if you meant the lifespan of the device, but that's kind of a hard question to answer because it's really going to depend on how your client is taking care of it and keeping it properly cleaned and stored. So I don't really know how to answer that question specifically.
If you're meaning the lifespan of the unit, I know a lot of them that have the original minis, and the original minis were actually, now the paint, or I wouldn't call it paint, the coloring, would you call it that, Nadia, is in the mini, as originally it was painted on the original ones. And so I've had some call me and say, my mini still works, but the paint's starting to come off. And they don't do that anymore because they're not. But that shows you how the life of, they've had it for many, many years, that mini. Now, please, 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 after you're done, always clean all the way around. Please, please, please. And that's going to keep no buildup of stuff. I just use like little alcohol preps. And because again, this is for home use. So wipe that down. You know, again, it's just for you to use, but we don't want buildup of gels and product. Yep. And always staying in good shape. So just a simple little alcohol swab. We'll work with that to keep that clean for you for your next time.
Daisy asked what the benefits of using the mask with the mini. The mask that Andrea is using is a biocellulose mask with some peptides. The mask itself is a little conductive, so we're getting the conductivity from the mask and also pushing in those peptides as well. So it's basically the same concept as laying down your serums and then doing the treatment on top. Just the same thing, it's just your serums are in that mask.
In one way it's easier, and one way it's harder, because the mask, you know, Andrea by now, she can probably show you, she's really good at doing it over the mask, and these masks that we're using, they stay in place really well, so that's a good thing. And then she uses the excess, like she told you, on the neck, so then that's conductive gel, or she uses the Clareblend conductive gel on her neck. But sometimes I find, you know, I just rather just use the conductive gel and go over it too. So it's whatever you want, but it's a good little alternative that you can do too. They even have little eye mask ones just to do just the eyes too. Any other questions?
Jamie had a question regarding overstimulating ATP, of combining that with red LED light as well, since red LED will also help stimulate that.
Yeah, between the two, you're fine, because they kind of hit it in a slightly different way, different format, think of it that way. But you can do the red LED and the microcurrent, you know. It used to be that we always did the red at the end of the treatment, like a red LED. Now, a lot of SDs have decided that they feel like it almost does a little bit more if they do the red LED before they do their microcurrent. So old method used to be microcurrent, then LED. Now a lot are doing LED and then microcurrent. Can be done either way. They coincide well together.
Pam, do you happen to have one of the handheld LEDs handy just to show what they look like? Because we also have those available for retailing to your clients as well.
And I know our hour's almost up, but I wanted to tell you too, we did a special because both of these are made by Clareblend. So we did a special with the LED and a mini. So here's our LED. This is a handheld. And this one does plug into an outlet. Take the little plastic piece off before you try to put it in. And don't laugh. Somebody asked me, otherwise I wouldn't be telling you that. Okay, hold on. All right. So I like to put, even if I'm doing it at home on myself, and I'll try not to too overpowering here. I take saran wrap and lay it onto it. So then that way it's clear. You don't want to use any colored products. You always clear or no product with LED, but it has to be a clear product or no product. Okay, so keep that in mind, because think of it like a prism, and how you want that light to go where you want it to go. When now another good way, like I can show you on my hand. Can you see how you can like see it through my hand? That's because it goes 633 nanometers into the skin. So you can get an idea. Like if I do it on my wrist, it's thicker, you can't really see it, but on my thin hand, you can see how it's going through. Blue light is typically in the 400 range, and that's more for acne, for killing bacteria, things of that sort. But red and red/infrared, red for photorejuvenation, and red/infrared also for healing. So infrared's going to go in the 800 range, and red typically is 633 in the 630 range. Okay. To answer all the questions on that?
There was share the deal in this meeting. Because these meetings could leak out, we really value your wholesale pricing. So we don't normally discuss pricing during our webinars. You can always call me or email me after this. I'd be happy to send that over to you. You can also register at medspa-distributors.biz. We do verify licenses to make sure you're current with your license, but then at that point, I'll send you our wholesale catalog, and you can access our pricing online as well.
You can do them on the lips. However, it's a little harder with the home one compared to like if I'm using my professional machine, I can get in a little tighter on the lips. And so what I mean by that is, I'm just grabbing two. I can take and go here and here and get really tight and, you know, right real close, okay? As with this, I can only get that distance. You see what I'm saying? So professionally, I can get in closer and do the lips than I can at home. Now, of course, I can do the top, and you want to, you know, what we call kind of lengthen first and then bring up. But I can't get as tight as I can with my professional machine.
That's actually a great segue into another point I wanted to make, Pam, that doing the mini at home certainly does not replace you as their professional esthetician. There are things that you can do with your professional equipment. For example, you can customize the current specifically to their body, where the mini is on or off. We could get in a much closer, tighter space than the mini. So the mini will never replace you. It will just enhance what you're doing professionally for them. They can't get the same results at home as they do with you.
We want to do that. We want to enhance what you do, work with, and Nadia is shaking her head. I see that,
yes.
That it is meant to help bring you more income in, and for the main clients to maintain during their professional treatments.
Right. Especially now when everybody is home and cannot see you, this will help them bridge that gap and help them maintain their facials and their microcurrent treatments.
Exactly. They won't backslide to the point where we have to start all over with these microcurrent sessions again. This is a great way to hold them at least steady until you can get them back on your table.
And you can have Zoom parties. Zoom parties.
And we do have the SDs doing that, where they bought like 5 minis, or some even more than that, depending on how many clients, and they bought their Zoom party package, and basically it's their mini and some products along with it, and then she, the esthetician, or he, the esthetician, gets them together and at a certain time on Zoom, and then she goes and they can talk and they can chat and they can take and they can kind of, you know, practice together. And if the person then has questions, they can say, well, how do I get into here? And she can then show them while she has them, how you can tightly get into an area. So, and you know, that takes you should maybe do an hour Zoom, but you're doing 5 people at the same time. And again, people still do want to socialize. It's like, you know,
keep in touch with your clients, you know, and everybody has fun.
Exactly. Let's see, Andrea, has she finished? She probably is only about halfway finished now. I'm not sure. I know she was doing it.
Yeah, I was just going over my favorite spots, but so.
Isn't that great?
Very nice.
The minister and everything there too. So we really appreciate you guys' time. Hopefully that, you know, you find it helpful to maybe get a few little hints on doing things like this. We are doing one about every Monday now, just about, unless there's a holiday involved. We're not going to do it on Memorial Day. But Nadia, thanks for joining us, because they don't get to see your faces often, so I really get to appreciate that you joined us.
It was my pleasure, and thank you everybody for all your support with the mini. And you've all helped us make it a success, and we keep on making them, so keep on selling them.
Thank you guys. And you know, that's what we do. Is as far as it goes Clareblend. Clareblend is the manufacturer. They make all these great things. Little hint, we might even have something coming out this year, maybe the end of this year, maybe.
And then, don't talk about that just yet.
Maybe.
We're always developing new things, so just know that.
They're always working on new developments.
Rich is the mastermind, so you know.
Yeah, Rich will call me and ask me, you know, what do you want me to work on? And I'm like,
that's right.
And then, like I said, then it comes to us. We're the distributor. We're the estheticians for the education. And then the estheticians purchase this particular piece of equipment as far as either professionally with the Jeunesse or the Mini to sell to their clients. We don't sell to the end user. We don't want to sell to the end user. We want to refer them to an esthetician to do that, because again, we want everybody to work on that education together and to go over contraindications. We never want this to be just where like, oh, because you know, we don't want to sell it on Amazon just where anybody can buy it and not have any training or education.
That's right. That's what sets Clareblend apart. Education, and we do not sell from our manufacturing facility, just so you know.
Take care, everyone. We will see you.
Thank you. And it's nice to meet the people.